looking live here in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah, here at DNA HQ on today's episode of the DNA Sports Recap. The Utah Mammoth are in a playoff hunt.
With the Utah Jazz, is Ace Bailey living up to his number 5 pick?
With Utah football, is there drama with Coach Whitt's departure?
And MLB is back, and let's also talk some of our favorite moments from WBC.
All that and more. My name's Darren, that is AJ, and this is the DNA Sports Recap.
Roll the intro.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to another exciting edition of the DNA Sports Recap. How's it going, AJ?
I'm doing so good, buddy. How are you?
I am living the dream here. It is gorgeous outside. A little too warm, honestly, for late March, but
For March, it's really weird.
yeah, 83, I think is what it is. It's 79 right now, which is, way too warm for when we haven't had
Great
winter.
golfing weather.
Great golfing weather.
Yeah,
Yeah, it definitely is.
we're not golfing either.
No, we're not. We're sitting and slaving over a hot computer for you guys.
Hours on end for you guys.
That's right.
You're welcome, though.
That's right. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let's jump into our first subject. Let's talk a little bit about the Utah Mammoth, shall we?
Let's do it.
That is the wrong one. Do we have a Utah Mammoth one?
Yes.
Okay.
Had one. Huh.
Interesting. All right. Well, hey. All right, man. So let's go ahead and get it started off with a little bit of discussion about the Utah Mammoth. So the playoff race has begun, AJ. There are two teams that have clinched their tickets so far, and this is in the Western Conference. We have Colorado and Dallas, and some teams are getting close to punching their ticket to the postseason. We have, the Buffalo Sabres, the Carolina Hurricanes, Tampa Bay Lightning, and some others. Right now we have the regular season concluding April 16th. The Mammoth are sitting in the midst of what I would consider right now as to be a wild card battle.
Yeah.
With three other teams. Now Utah holds the top spot at the time of recording with 80 points, only 3 up from the Predators at the time of recording, AJ, which is a little concerning.
Yeah, and especially because they're way behind the Wild. I mean, the Wild have 92 points, again, at the time of recording. So it's not like they're going to catch them and surpass them for that next wild card spot. So they just got to make sure they keep winning, because a couple losses and the Predators could take a couple wins. They can catch up to them really fast.
Well, the Mammoth have the top wild card spot.
Oh, the top wild card spot.
Yes, the Wild have the. Yeah, so Utah has the top wild card spot, and the Predators have the second wild card spot.
Oh, okay, because of the divisions.
Yeah, the division. So yeah, they're
okay.
The division is out of sight for.
Yeah, they can't.
Them.
Yeah,
They're
they
not
definitely
catching.
can't win the division.
Yeah, I mean, technically they're not numerically eliminated from that, but they are basically. The 3 teams they have to worry about are the Kings, the Kraken, and the Jets. Those 3 are the ones that are sitting on the outside looking in. And then we also have the Predators that have the second spot, which now, again, they're only 3 points up against the Predators right now.
Yeah.
Which at the time of our last conversation, when we started talking about this, they were 6 points ahead of that. So hasn't been exactly the best 2 weeks of hockey for the Mammoth. Not necessarily that they were playing bad, just simply because everybody else is like behind them is just winning.
Everybody just keeps winning.
winning.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. When we talked, they had a 98.9% chance of making the playoffs. That is down to 94% as of recording.
I think if you're in the Mammoth, you're not super upset about a 94% chance to make the playoffs, though.
No, definitely not.
But they do. They got some key games coming up, though, because they got games against the Kings, the Kraken, the Predators, the Blues. So you've got to make sure that through these games you push through, get wins. I mean, you don't got to win all of them. I mean, obviously that's great, but if you can win some of those games, that's going to help Prepare you for the playoffs, right? Good games against good teams. This team needs those games right now to start getting into playoff shape because they're planning on going. That's everything they want. That's everything they've been working for. And if they can get into that position, they'll be just fine. So they got to win some of these super important games that they got coming up for sure.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Now, is it possible for them to fall out of contention? Probably not. That's not likely. But the chances of them missing that top wild card spot, which they've held on to for so long, would be kind of a bummer to see that slip.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of like
that would hurt bad.
Yeah, but it's been again, all the numbers are pointing the right way since we added that Wiegand kid.
Yeah,
he's really helped. His advanced metrics have gone up since coming over here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody over there in Calgary actually was having a great year, so his numbers weren't exactly great down there, but are up there wherever we are.
Mackenzie Weegar's been huge for this team. I mean,
yes.
you can just see it. He has a veteran presence that's kind of helped level some things out. He goes out there. He plays tough hockey. He's been fun to watch, and you can see that he's going to make this team better. And he was kind of that piece that this team needed to kind of keep pushing forward because this team's hungry, man. I mean, they've been working all season. They wanted to make the playoffs. They're in position to do that now. And by going out and making a move, in before the trade deadline and getting somebody, it shows that they're still committed to achieving that goal. So
yeah, you definitely hit it on a point there. Is that he's been helping this team because especially with Mikael Servicek, his overall advanced steps have gone up as well.
Yeah,
in response to that trade. So those two play together quite well. So yeah, man. I mean, while I'm not expecting them to fall out of contention for the playoff spot, seeing a 5%, 6% drop in just 2 weeks does perk your eyebrow,
especially with some tough games coming up.
Yeah, these games are going to be important, but the team is, I think, set up and ready for a good playoff push here. So
yeah, they really needed that game against the Ducks.
Yeah.
When they dropped that one, and it wasn't even close. I mean, I actually watched that one, and they lost, I think, 3-0.
Ugh, that's rough.
And yeah, they really needed that win against the Ducks, and they lost it. So
yeah, well, unfortunately, that's unfortunate. But we want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below when it comes to the Utah Mammoth. Are you concerned about the chances of them sliding out of the playoffs? Are you not? We want to hear from you. We'll keep you guys updated as this story progresses. There within more teams clinching. We'll talk about it, and we'll see. We'll follow this team all the way down to the end to the April 16th,
Absolutely.
man.
And hopefully we can report that they clinched, and we're good to go.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That would be great. As a reminder, folks, we did launch a channel specifically for Utah Mammoth called Utah Mammoth DNA. All of our Mammoth content will be posted here on this sub-channel. If you're watching this on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, during our live stream, or if you're listening on the podcast afterward on the audio, a link to Utah Mammoth DNA will be in the description down below. We will be giving away a hockey jersey once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers.
Absolutely. Like, subscribe, all the fun things.
Absolutely. All right, so let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit about the Utes, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we do that, actually, we just wanted to run the zinger, man. We're just so excited to talk about the Utes. Let's go ahead and hit one more subject here when it comes to the Utah Mammoth, and that's actually that this came down a couple days ago. The contract extension that we got for Caleb.
Yeah,
Caleb Desnoyers was inked a 3-year contract, entry-level contract extension.
Yeah, I mean, this is huge for an 18-year-old, right? He was a first-round draft pick a couple years ago. And he did have that setback in his first year where he had surgery on his hand, I believe, that caused him to miss some time.
Mm-hmm.
But really, he's played really well. He had 78 points in 45 games, which is the second best points per game rate in the league, because he was playing down one.
Yeah, in the Montauk Wildcats.
Yeah. So he's played some good hockey. This is great to see the Mammoth sign some of these younger players. They've done a good job drafting, and unfortunately for these guys, they have a really talented team, and they've got good players all over. So for them to be able to sign some guys that they can keep on contract and keep them, with the club, it's a great look for them. And it's also really exciting, to just keep having guys that you can, if you've got to make some moves, you've got some pieces that are under contract. So
For sure. There's a lot of talent on this team that is in the middle of 8-year contracts.
yeah,
And this team's really built we already talked about on a previous episode how this team's already established itself in year 2 as kind of a destination place. Like Wiegand even had to waive his no trade clause
yeah,
in order to come here.
yeah,
And while this probably wasn't the only destination he would have been willing to do that for, that list was probably pretty short. He really liked it where he was at. So
yeah. And he spent his whole career there too.
yeah, so to come here and be willing to waive that was kind of huge. And, to your point there, like we have these players that are kind of establishing like a core, and then from there we're building throughout the draft and kind of up through it. You really like that some of this young talent is getting some contract extensions. Now, more than likely, he's probably going to play with the Tucson Roadrunners to start this contract. He probably won't be with the Utah Mammoth. He'll be down in the AHL team. But this will get him out of the QMJHL, space there. But what I really like about was what Bill Armstrong described Des Noyers as is an incredibly skilled player and extremely bright future. So look forward to him potentially joining the Mammoth at some point during these 3 years for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a reminder, folks, we want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. When it comes to the Utah Mammoth, did you like the Caleb's contract extension? Does it mean something, nothing, everything? What are your thoughts in regards to that and how this team is building itself up overall for more of that prolonged, what's the word I'm looking for?
Depth.
Prolonged depth and prolonged time for being a contender, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Window. Yeah.
Exactly. We want to hear from you. As a reminder, folks, Utah Mammoth DNA, channel dedicated specifically for Utah Mammoth. All of our content will be posted on this channel, Utah Mammoth DNA. So be sure to check it out. Once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers, we'll be doing a giveaway. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit about the Utah Utes. All right, man. So before we get into content, folks, we did just want to remind you about the Utah Football DNA. This is a channel we have dedicated to all of our Utah football content. All of our content regarding the Utah football will be here on this channel. So if you're watching this on our live stream or you're listening to our podcast or on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, a link to Utah Football DNA will be in the description down below. So if you are here for our Utes content, this is where you want to be.
Right here.
That's right. All right. So, man, Utah football, man. So when it comes to Utah, another messy and drama-filled situation of a longtime coach moving on in the state.
Yeah.
It seems like we did this already with Coach Sloan, and here we are with a tea being spilled with Whittingham's departure drama. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it really has been too.
Yeah.
I mean, at first it seemed really harmless.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a pretty mutual departure, but it seems like quite a few of the details have come out since then, huh?
Absolutely. Let's get into that. Let's quickly hit this comment here we got from Greg Hawkins. Channel legend Greg Hawkins got Miller High Life in hand and DNA Sports Recap on the TV. Let's go. Well, cheers to that, my friend. Cheers to you.
Cheers to you, Greg.
Yeah, so what we're going to do here is we're going to when it comes to this, I want to break down the timeline. I think that's kind of crucial that we kind of identify this. Now, you've probably read the stories. You've probably seen everything out there about this being kind of a messy split. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So Whittingham coaches his final regular season game in a 31-21 win over Kansas, finishing the season 10-2.
Yep.
On December 2nd, Whittingham's agent informs Utah that he does not plan to retire and seeks a salary raise of over $9.6 million. Expects another $2 million for his coaching pool and is requesting $20 million in NIL funding. This is on December 2nd. December 12th, Whittingham formally announces his decision to step down as head coach for the Utes. Now, right there, between those two things, I think is a key piece that we need to hit on, right?
Yeah.
And that is, after Whittingham's agent submitted to the University of Utah what he would like, the University of Utah came back with a counteroffer.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the key thing that I wanted to touch on that really kind of tells the story here and really kind of puts you in a position where you understand where the Utes are coming from, right? So the Utes made the counteroffer to Coach Whitt. The salary increased to $8 million for the 2026 season instead of the $9 to $9.6 million range that Whittingham wanted. More importantly, there was the piece of the loss of control. This deal includes that would require that Whittingham cedes control of the program to the defensive coordinator / coach in waiting, Morgan Scally. Recruiting and personnel limitations. Morgan Scally would also have full and final oversight on overall recruiting of players, personnel, and the team's will be the team's general manager. Right. Future staffing. Scally would actually have complete authority over any decisions impacting the program beyond 2026. The Utes required that a senior administrator chosen by the athletic director would be housed full-time within the football facility. I think that was the dagger for Coach Whitt. And again, there's also a termination clause that if Whitt violated any of these terms, he would be faced with a $500,000 fine for the first violation and termination within the second violation. So obviously Whittingham did decline this offer, leading to him to his resignation on December 12th, 2025. A subsequent separation of contract, basically an addendum kind of came into there, which was the Utes would be paying him $13 million for separation, part of the agreement of his previous contract. So again, that all went down kind of around the December 12th. That's when he found out the counter option, and instead of just doing the negotiation, there was just a flat out, okay, Whittingham is formally announcing his decision to step down as head coach for the Utes. On the December 13th, the University of Utah promoted Morgan Scally officially to be named the next head coach of the University of Utah, and then expecting Whittingham to stay on in a more advisory role.
Right, absolutely.
Right? This is on December 13th. Now, right around that time, I believe this is December 17th, or right around that time. I don't have the exact date on that one. Sorry, my notes I skipped that part on the date. But anyway, Michigan fires head coach Sharon Moore after his arrest, and then Whittingham emerges as a top candidate. On December 26, 2025, Michigan announces Kyle Whittingham is their new head coach.
That was the worst Christmas present ever, by the way.
And then Whittingham, and then late December 2025, Whittingham abandons his plans to coach the Vegas Bowl on December 31st to start at Michigan immediately. Now, why is that part initially important? Why is that particular part important?
Well, I mean, it showed you that he was ready to move all the way away from the University of Utah.
Right. Now, the Utes are definitely unhappy with the way this was handled.
Oh, yeah.
With the situation. So when the athletic director made the first payment, he also accompanied it with a payment of $8 million, the first part of this $13 million severance deal that they had. He included a letter. And the letter basically kind of just stated that they were not happy with how Coach Whittingham handled the situation.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be a smooth transition of power from Whittingham over to Morgan Scally, and basically just kind of abandoning the team for the during the bowl game was not how they wanted to be handled.
Right.
So that kind of left a sour taste in the mouth for the University of Utah.
Yeah.
So basically just kind of just starts how there's basically feelings on both sides that basically made it kind of, there's a little bit of animosity between the two and creating this whole drama-filled scenario. Now, I kind of talked about my key piece there on why I think things went sour pretty quickly in this discussion. And given, I work full remote, and I have a lot of people I work with that are, outside of this bubble, right? Outside the Utah bubble. And the question I get the most of from anybody I talk to outside of Utah is, if Coach Whittingham was willing to still coach, why isn't he not coaching in Utah?
The reason that he's not coaching at Utah is because the AD, Mark Harlan, had come to terms fully. He thought that Kyle Whittingham's career here had plateaued. He had taken this team as far as he could possibly take it. There was no further up that he could go. He thought that there was probably more potential. And at that time, Jason Beck, he thought, we've got the right offensive coordinator. The offense looked fantastic last year. Morgan Scalley's done a great job with the defense for years. We're good with the way that is. You know, obviously he's going to replace that somebody. We know Colton Swan's going to be a great person to take that role over. This football program is in a better position if we can use Kyle Whittingham for his knowledge and keep using him to help recruiting and his legacy. And we can turn this over to Morgan Scalley, and he can bring a fresh set of eyes to this football program to take it to the next level.
That was part of the letter. Where
Absolutely.
They put it in the contract there that he was not able to take on any job, paid or unpaid, in the state of Utah before 2028.
Yeah.
That's the key part there that Utah messed up on. They said before 2020 in the state. That's where they messed up.
But allowed jobs outside of the state.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, the university was just ready to put a fresh set of eyes and a fresh person at the helm to run this program. And I think there might be some truth to that. You know what I mean? Kyle Whittingham did a great job, and he got this football program to where it is, and he coached it. But I think that with the talent that he's able to bring in, I think that it was just that's as far as he could take it. You know, now I'm not saying that he can't do better things with Michigan, because he's going to have much better talent at Michigan. He took a lot of great players. He took a lot of great coaches. But with what the resources that he had at the University of Utah, I think he is plateaued. And I think it needed somebody to put a fresh set and a fresh opinion, and just they needed a change, right? And it's like they weren't trying to do Kyle Whittingham dirty. They were trying to do it the right way and make sure that his legacy as a Utah man stayed intact. And all of this coming out, I don't know if it'll tarnish his reputation, because I think as a Utah football fan, I don't know if I'll ever have sour feelings for the way that this all went down, right? Yeah, he did take a lot of coaches, and he took a lot of things that made that, you know, that a lot of players that he'd recruited that were great players that, you know, Morgan Scalley had coached up and made into great players.
Right, that the team was expecting and the school was expecting, the program was expecting to maintain in this transition.
Absolutely.
Period.
But yeah, I mean, that's my opinion. That's what I tell everybody. I mean, realistically, I just think that his ability to take this team to the next level has plateaued. I don't think he had any more in him to take this team any further.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. And then one of the things that I've been hearing a lot when it comes to not only just, you know, podcasts that with people in the know that I've listened to, that I follow, and you probably follow the same ones, and the people that we've been speaking to that have knowledge up on the Hill, is that the University of Utah was just kind of tired of Kyle Whittingham being the end-all, be-all of this program.
Yeah.
It just got to the point where, you know, it's time for, like you mentioned, time to move on. Can he achieve greatness elsewhere? Absolutely. But I definitely think his time had run out here at the University of Utah as the head coach. You know, could it have happened earlier? I think it should have.
Yeah.
This is definitely, you know, I don't think if the team didn't struggle the way it did, he probably would have retired. I mean, he mentioned that retirement was on the table.
Yeah.
You know, but he just didn't want to go out like that. So we figured 10-2 season, he might retire after that. You know, just come out and say like he's stepping down and then immediately taking a head coaching job somewhere else was kind of blindsided. Now the full story has been released on why we now know why that is the case.
Yeah.
He wasn't done coaching football, and he, you know, basically just like, oh, okay, well, you know, you folks were ready to move on. I guess I'm ready to move on too. I don't think there's going to be any sour blood. I think this is one of those things, just like Coach Sloan, very similar situation with Coach Sloan. He kind of ran his course for the Utah Jazz, and honestly stayed on longer than he should have. The game kind of changed.
Longer, yeah.
And I think in college football, the game has kind of changed as well. Like you need, you know, at the University of Utah, you need somebody who's going to be more specific to the NIL, not the traditional recruiting route that Coach Whittingham's better at. You know, at Michigan, he's going to have a brand behind him that's going to help out with that kind of side of things. That's going to be a little bit more.
He's going to have a brand and NIL money behind him.
Yes, exactly. which he didn't really have here at Utah. So
Well, and the whole brand that he had here at Utah, he built.
exactly.
He was the brand at Utah.
Yeah. So just similar to like the Coach Sloan situation, I think this is going to die down over time.
Yeah.
And he's going to be known for the legacy that he left behind, not
Yeah.
necessarily his messy exit.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I really do look forward to the different set of eyes and the fresh approach that I think Morgan Scally can bring. I think that, we have lots of options as far as this team can be really good, and I think Morgan Scally has the ability to take him to the next level.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and hit a few comments here before we move on. Mark Harnon is a terrible AD, and Whittingham peaked in 2019 and would have retired by now if not for Cam Rising's resurrecting his career in 2023, and especially 2024 with the inexhaustible coaching jobs. Yeah, I'd have to there's a little bit of truth to that for sure, because there's part of that where, back-to-back years, the University of Utah was on a fifth-string quarterback, and he was just trying to get through. There might have been a chance there where, hey, once Cam Rising comes back, we're going to make a run for this one more time. We're going to, try to either, A, finish off the Pac-12 as conference champions, and we'll just ride off of the sunset then, or, his first year in, and then just everything kind of went a different direction.
Yeah, the next comments are exactly it, too.
We got the next one here from Greg Hawkins. I will never miss the will he, won't he game Whittingham play with Rising for 3 years. Yeah. And, I believe the University of Utah got fined for that, didn't they? Because just like everything else, everything's owned by the betting houses now. And so if you're not letting out to know who's playing before, hours before the game starts,
yeah,
it's becoming an issue. So I know he didn't like playing that way. So, yeah, I'm right there with you, though. I hated that. I hated seeing Cam Rising warming up on the field in pads and just not have him in the game at all.
Yeah,
I got really tired of seeing that. If he's not playing, he's not playing. Let us know.
And we did a lot of talking about that too.
Yes.
I mean, you go back to some of our previous videos, and we talked a lot about will Cam Rising play. It was the biggest story because we just didn't know what was going to happen, and it was all based on Kyle Whittingham and his reports of if he's ready to go, he's a game time decision, and if the doctors say yes, he's going to play, and that was it.
Yeah, and then game time happens, and he's not out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. Whittingham has a brand and NIL money now, and still chooses to recruit out of Lehigh and Drake.
It's where he's comfortable, man. That's where he's going to go. Absolutely.
Exactly. Why? I totally get that.
Yeah.
His mansion in Michigan's not ready yet. And this is my favorite one. I'm not salty. I'm kind of salty. Yeah, I'm 100% right there with you, man. Yeah, I just think it's kind of funny because that is something we hear a lot about. Why? And we thought that too. If he wasn't going to play at Utah, our coach at Utah, we thought he was going to retire.
Yeah.
And so to come out,
he'd just be done.
He would just be done. And then, this whole thing comes out, and then, after the arrest/firing of the Michigan head coach there, and then Whittingham emerges as the top candidate, you're like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not done.
Yeah.
Maybe I can just, step out of this advisory role and make a run at it.
Yeah.
And maybe he had a bit of sour grapes and now has something to prove, in a Big Ten school.
And maybe it kind of reignited that fire for him for Utah to say, hey, we're ready to move on. You know what I mean? We're ready for Morgan Scally to take the reins and start leading this team to the direction we wanted to go, which is we want to win a Big 12 championship. We want to do it next year. These are all the things we think we can accomplish, and we're just not sure you're the guy for it.
Yeah.
As a head coach, I'm sure you're like, challenge accepted. Watch this. I'll go win the Big Ten.
Yeah. Watch him do it too.
It's the toughest conference in college football. Of course that's exactly what he wants to do.
Yeah. Watch him do it too. He's got the talent. He's got the money.
And he's a great head coach.
And he's a great coach.
Yeah.
We want to see it, man. Love to see it. Again, we want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below when it comes to this whole situation. We want to hear from you on anything regarding this, his departure, all these records that are coming out after. What are your thoughts on all this? We want to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Let us know your thoughts. Yeah, without burning sources or anything like that, we kind of understood the writing on the wall for this already. The people in the room, the money in the room, were ready to move on from Whitt, and they were basically holding back the purse strings, and basically said, as long as Whitt's in charge, we're not giving you another month. We're not spending.
We're not going to make that many changes.
Yeah,
and we're definitely not paying him even more money to do the same thing again.
Yes. Which, if you really think about it, Utah was getting a steal with that guy.
Oh, absolutely.
Between,
And realistically, they countered him with $8 million and to move him into an advisory role.
Yeah. I mean, hey,
that is literally just like, here, take our money, help Morgan Scally however you can.
$8 million? Like, come on now. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And his current contract, he did have if he chose to retire, he was still getting paid $3.5 million
for like 3 more years.
For 3 more years.
Yeah.
So, no crying for Coach Whitt, that's for sure. Let's go ahead and move on over to some more happier news, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So this was an article that was in Sports Illustrated, which is fantastic. I think Sports Illustrated does a great job covering college sports, and not just because they seem to have a shining towards the University of Utah.
No. It's my favorite place to read Utah news, man.
I know. Just like they seriously need to reach out to you for commentary, because
I really think they should.
You're the internal
SI, if you're watching, I got you.
You're the internal Utah optimist.
Yeah.
So,
but explain why I'm the eternal Utah optimist and how this story syncs up so good.
So for this article on SI.com, we'll link to it in the description down below if we can bother to remember. Stating what it says is it states that the FanDuel's Sportsbook released their odds on who's going to be winning the conference. Shocker to no one that the defending conference champions, Texas Tech, is holding on the top spot at a negative 115 on odds to repeat. But coming in at a distant number 2 is the University of Utah at a plus 700.
Hey, Darren, where did I have Utah finishing this year in the top 5 rankings in the Big 12?
I'm going to have to check. I'm going to link down below. I think you
actually, you know what? I'll edit this one. I'll put the video right here.
Okay.
Right here. You guys check it out.
Yes. So there you go. You had the University of Utah taking second behind Texas Tech.
Crazy.
Funny how that works.
Crazy. And betting odds. And for the record, this was before this article came out.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. This is way before betting odds came out.
It was posted on the internet.
Absolutely.
You nailed it, dude. You nailed it.
I have Utah as the number 2 team in the conference.
Okay. So why don't you explain to us why that is? What's the justification behind this?
The biggest justification is this team is returning enough key players all the way through that they are going to be able to make a difference in every single game. And their over-under at 8.5 wins is too low. Like you take the over on that every single time. And this team, when they got back Bird Ficklin and Devin Dampier, you knew this team could continue to make a run, right? Regardless of who the offensive coordinator is. I think Jason Beck is great. And we just got a comment about the offensive coordinator, but Jason Beck, as great as he was and as great as he used Devin Dampier, I think that Kevin McGivern will be able to do the exact same thing. I think that he's going to be able to get the best out of these 2 quarterbacks. Braden Pegan is a great player. And I've been watching the University of Utah, their spring camp. I watch every single video, and he's already talking about the chemistry that he's got with Pegan. And just like I predicted in the video, I think he's going to be one of their top receiving targets. Morgan Scally defenses are always tough. This team is still going to be hard-nosed. They're still going to be relentless, smart, nasty ball hawks, just like Morgan Scally. He's coaching nothing but relentless effort. That is what you need from a Utah football team, and they have a favorable schedule. You miss Texas Tech this year, and when the first time you're going to see them could potentially be in a Big 12 championship game, that's where you want it to be, on a neutral field. I'm all in, man. I mean, that's the reason that they're there.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that one. Let's go ahead and hit that comment from Greg Hawkins. I'm not sold on the offensive coordinator. I'll have to see it before I believe it. 100% agree on that, man.
But I would say, Greg, go watch some Utah State games from last year, because if you see what he did with Bryson Barnes and the player that he made Bryson Barnes into, we watched a ton of Bryson Barnes over the last couple of years.
Where was that guy?
And that's just it. Like, he made him use his legs more, because Bryson Barnes was always a strong runner. And he wasn't fast, but he was crafty. He could move. If you go watch those, just a few of those games, even just the highlights of those games, you see how crafty he is with offense. And it gives you a lot of hope. It gave me a lot of hope. I'm just like, okay, with the talent that Utah has, this is what we needed.
Yeah, I agree with you on a few things. One, definitely the favorable schedule is definitely playing in their favor for sure.
Absolutely.
When it comes to that on this. Another one is also Utah is close to finishing a $500 million private equity deal with Otro Capital.
Yep.
Which might have something to do with that.
It sure does help competitiveness when you got a little bit of money to spend.
Yeah, so I think that also plays a big part of it. So if that's to happen before the season starts, expect that to move the needle a little bit for a lot of folks that would choose to come to Utah for sure, or just simply put Utah in a great light going forward. It's also worth noting, folks, that on the same thing that BYU is right on them, and this is no soaking reference for those people down south, but they also have a 750 odds, so they are right behind the University of Utah. At
Correct.
750. So
yeah, spot on.
BYU is neck and neck.
I said they were number 3.
That's true. Again, nailing it, dude. Nailing it all day. All day, AJ.
That's what I'm here for, man. For my expertise.
It's great.
You know what I mean?
It's great. A little victory lap for AJ on this part of the episode.
I'll take it, man. You know what I mean? Because that video didn't get watched very much, but I was waiting to be trashed in the comments on that one. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But now we got some backup. You know what I mean?
Go. There you
Say
go.
something.
So we'll link that one, and we'll link this one to that one.
Yeah, FanDuel says I'm right. So
exactly. And when are they wrong? Yeah. Hashtag never sponsor us.
Please don't. Yeah.
As a reminder, folks, we did launch a channel specifically for the University of Utah called the Utah Football DNA. All of our Utah football content will be placed here. So if you're watching this on our live stream on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, a link to Utah Football DNA will be in the description down below. If you're listening to this on the podcast, same thing there in description. Check out Utah Football DNA if that's what you're here for. Be sure to subscribe to that. For sure.
Like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you guys think.
Exactly. We'll be giving away something once that channel hits 1,000 subscribers. So be sure to check it out.
Yep.
Think your tickets or maybe some kind of giveaway. We'll give away something.
We'll give away something. Just like and subscribe. Do the things.
I love it. All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little about the Utah Jazz.
Let's do it.
Before we get into the content, folks, we did want to remind you about Utah Jazz DNA. We want to encourage you to join the conversation in the comments down below. While you're down there, consider subscribing to Utah Jazz DNA. Smash that like button for your boy AJ right over there. Boom. It makes him smile. And consider subscribing to this channel. We'll be giving away one of those sweet Utah Black Road jerseys once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, those mountain jerseys are badass.
Yeah, they're super cool.
Yeah.
I also like the pullovers that just have the mountains.
I do like them a lot too. Yeah, it's just like
sick.
the stick mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
I like
super
them.
sick. I want to get me one of those for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. I want to talk a few things about the Utah Jazz here. The second subject, so be sure to stick around on that. That one's called a tease. A little bit into the conspiracy theory realm, something that we want to talk about, which we want to hear you guys' your thoughts on. So let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. But let's go ahead and start with Ace Bailey, man.
Oh yeah.
So this kid, man, we wanted to talk about how is this kid living up to the number 5 pick that he was selected in last year's draft, right? So on the season, AJ, he's averaging 13.4 points per game, 47% from the field, 36% from 3, so 47% overall, 51% from 2. But mainly, AJ, over the last 3 games, this guy's kicked it into another level. He's had averaging 31 points per game, 3.5 assists per game, and 7 rebounds. If you look at his top 20 games of the year, there is definitely a trend that you can see that's pretty kind of just jumps out at you.
Yeah.
And that's been when you give this kid 30 minutes on the court, he's averaging over 20 points per game. And that just shows you when you give this kid some minutes, he will produce.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome.
It is. And it's been really fun to see Ace just change the whole way that he sees the game of basketball. You know what I mean? Because you think when we went back and we picked this kid, there was a bunch of controversy around him. We didn't know if he was going to be the player that everyone said he could be. You know, there was drama. He didn't want to go here. His agent was pushing him certain directions.
He was shorter than he said on
he
the
was
thing.
Shorter. Like I mean, you name it. There was this drama around this kid, but he's been getting better and then even a little bit better. And you can just really tell that the game of basketball for him at the NBA speed has just slowed down. And I am so looking forward to a full season with NBA trainers and NBA, being around NBA players, and really you can see that Ace's main goal is to be a starter next season. He wants to be on the floor when we have JJJ out there and Walker Kessler and Lauri Markkanen and Keontae George. He wants to show that he can contribute in those minutes. And if he can get 30 minutes a night and do this, is he going to have that kind of production with those guys on the floor? No, probably not.
No,
but if you
with
can,
a bunch of 10-day guys right now, so
yeah, and absolutely, and
there's some of that to
and
this.
there's absolutely that is some of the reason, right? He is the guy that needs to score while he's out there with 10-day guys, but you can see that he's putting in the effort, and it's not just the offensive side of the ball; it's the defensive side of the ball. He had 5 blocks, I think, a couple nights ago, in one game where he had over 25 points. Like, that is very, very impressive. And if he can produce that much on the defensive side of the ball, that's where he's going to earn those minutes. And that's how he's continuing to show that he's worth the number 5 pick, because he can play defense. We knew he was going to be a great scorer. He was kind of like a borderline. He's supposed to be a good defensive player. Is he really big enough to be an effective defensive player in the NBA? We'll see. Is he fast enough? Like, there's a lot of questions around him. But he's there, man. I mean, he's got, when you put his offensive talent out there and his defensive effort out there with Lauri and Keontae, this kid's going to live up to the hype, I think. I think he's really got a chance.
Does he start next year?
I think there's a chance. I really think that you could see Ace Bailey in the starting rotation at some point next year.
Last week we were playing around with the whole Utah Jazz signing Austin Reeves in the offseason.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he's really kind of the only position you would have to give up to get him.
Yeah.
And that's one of my main reasons why I was not okay with it.
With Austin Reeves?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ace Bailey's gone if they take Austin Reeves.
Yeah, he would have to be, he would be traded, but again, you would trade him for what? Right? Like,
yeah, we don't need picks. We need players.
Picks. Do we need players?
Well, no, but I'm just like, Austin Reeves is the player, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
We've moved from rebuilding and trying to draft players to we need player capital now, right? We've moved away from the win then now. We want to win now.
I think the Ace Bailey conversation is perfect for what we're talking about now, because we're coming down to the end of the season. Yes, he's playing a bunch of, playing with a bunch of 10-day contract guys, so of course he's going to be scoring. It's the efficiency that's the important part here.
Absolutely.
His shot efficiency's up. All of his percentage points on the field for his shot selections all up. He's got more turnovers, but again, 10-day contracts. You throw a bad pass to somebody who's not expecting it, that's your turnover. So there's a little bit more of that too. But you got to keep in mind, like, even in the beginning of the season, he's not playing against 10-day guys.
Correct.
And
that's such a great point, actually.
There are some players.
He's still playing NBA players. Yeah.
He's not playing 10-day guys. He's having to produce against players that are still trying to win games.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that we kind of keep that in mind. I do want Ace Bailey to be the starting 2-guard on this team, with Keontae George as the starting point guard. I think both of those two players have earned their right to really kind of give the reins to and see what happens with this team. Because you got those two guys in the backcourt. First of all, length, hello, that's insane. That's like my wet dream right there. We actually have length on this team. We're not running out a point guard that's an inch shorter than me out there.
Yeah,
it's a little ridiculous. But on the same side of that, it's you have these two incredible young talented players with a Walker Kessler. Yes, we are re-signing him. He's not going anywhere. With Lauri Markkanen and Triple J. That's an insane lineup, man.
It is.
I don't even think we're talking play-in the Western Conference at that
point.
point.
I think you make the playoffs. Yeah, I don't think you're even worried. I think you're, and you always ask the health question, right? Because we've had so many.
We know where the health question. Yeah, we know where
issues
the health question is
the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But if you can keep this team healthy, if you can just rest guys for actual reasons like, hey, we're trying to extend their NBA season, this team is going to be there. They've got enough talent. They've put together. They've developed enough players. We all know that Will Hardy's a great coach. He's done a great job. He's done what they've asked him to. Hey, get us in this position. This is where we need to be. This is how many games we need to win. He's done the things that he needed to do. And when you can take those reins off and say, hey, Will, it's time to go now. Like
Right.
we need to win. It's time to win. It's time. We've wanted to bring a championship to Utah. You now have a team assembled that you can do that with. Now let's see what you can do.
Yeah. When it comes to Will Hardy, I think he's chomping at the bit, man. He knows he's getting paid to lose games right now, but he's trying to lose games but still build a winning culture.
But exactly, he's trying to coach a culture that is a winning culture and a team first, and be all in for the guy next to you, but also you're not playing. We're going to do our best.
Yeah, like, hey, everybody else, you guys want to be with this team next year?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or you want one of the other 29 teams to pick you up next year off this 10-day?
Yeah.
I'm going to need the best out of you.
Yep.
But not too much because we still need you to lose.
Yeah, but take it easy. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of which, man, I want to talk on that. Like, yeah, I do think that that Ace Bailey is playing up to the number 5 pick. You know, he's not lighting it up like Concanipple or anything like that, who's probably going to win Rookie of the Year over Cooper Flagg.
It does appear that way, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
You know, remember a while ago when we said that?
Oh, dude, I forgot to say something. I forgot about this. Did you see the Keontae George Most Improved Player dilemma?
No.
Keontae George, they say he could be a front runner for Most Improved Player.
Okay.
Okay. But if he doesn't play in 10 of the last 12 games, he'll miss the 65-game deadline.
He won't qualify for it.
He won't qualify. So it's curious to see, and the Jazz game's on now. If you guys are available, let us know if Keontae is playing, because if he's available, he could potentially win Most Improved Player, but he has to play in like 10 of the last 12.
Yeah, let us know if you can pull yourself away from Netflix. More on that to come later. Which, by the way, that's a teaser for the next segment.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, dude, I think that's awesome. We're gonna have to cover that a little bit.
Yeah, we will. I'm sorry,
We'll
I
definitely
totally
cover that.
Yeah.
Also, a future subject that I want to talk about right now that we're going to tease for next week is with the vote. The vote passed today, by the way, in the NBA for them to hear
the
bids.
expansion teams. Yeah.
The expansion teams. You know what that means?
That means the Supersonics are potentially coming back?
Yes, but more importantly, expansion draft. Utah Jazz can only pick 8 players to protect. Who are you picking and why?
Ooh, that is a good one.
Stay tuned for next week.
Next week. Oh, dude, that is so good. You need to put that up there right now. Yeah, absolutely.
I want to hit this comment here before we move on to the subjects here. We got McKinley Cutler. Thank you very much for joining us again, McKinley.
Absolutely.
7 blocks is crazy for our defense, and he's going to be nasty next year.
Yes.
Yes, it's going to be nasty next year for sure. And I want to hit this one up because, yeah, it's worth talking about. I also missed the part about Kyle Whittingham's news, but what was crazy that Mark Harlan might be on the hot seat for the Utes fall short next fall.
Sorry, McKinley, but the Utes aren't falling short next year. Okay, number 2 in the conference. Make sure you go back and rewatch it. I predicted it.
FanDuel's got it.
We'll catch you up. Yeah.
It's great. It's great. BYU right behind him on the 750.
Yeah. Hey, right where I put him in my rankings too.
Yeah.
All respect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, all love.
No comments on my soaking comment, by the way.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing.
I just
spaced it. Yeah, I was just like, I'm not even going to say anything. I'm not even going there.
Come on, Greg. Not even you.
Yeah, Greg. That's more surprising than me. Is Greg not saying anything? Absolutely.
Anyway, so I did want to continue the conversation about the Utah Jazz. We talked about how deep this team's going to be. One of those depth pieces is going to be Yusuf Nurkic.
Yeah.
And it was announced about a month ago, almost to the day, by the way, that he was going to be out for the rest of the season to undergo surgery for fixing his breathing and sleeping issues caused by a previous fracture. This guy was in a final year of a 4-year, $70 million contract. The Utah Jazz are paying him $19.4 million to sit on the bench for the last 2 years. The last 2 months of the season, 2+ months of the season.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, AJ, this is where the conspiracy theory kind of jumps in. He's only 31 years old. He's got a chance for another good payday coming up.
Yeah.
And he willingly decides to sit out the rest of the year to fix a deviated septum or something that's causing him.
I think that's actually what it was.
Yeah. And that's something I had that surgery, and believe it or not, I was back to 100% like 2 weeks after that.
Right.
Full breathing, everything.
But you're not an NBA player.
But I'm not an NBA player, so the stress on my breathing. Yeah, exactly.
Not yet.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Definitely. So we were thinking when we were talking about this, like this is a serviceable big man on a 31 years old on a contract year. Why the heck would you sit out and agree to do that for the last two plus months of your season to fix your nose, unless you knew that it wasn't your last year of your contract? Is there a potential that the Jazz have a handshake deal with Nurkic?
I think that's the only explanation. I think that they have already negotiated a salary with Nurkic. I mean, we all know how great of an addition he was. And it's crazy because I can say myself, when the Jazz picked up Nurkic, I was just like, why are we getting this guy? Like, it doesn't make any sense. We've got Walker Kessler. We've got, like, we just drafted a 6'8" guy. Like, where does he fit into this rotation? I didn't see it. But then we saw him play, and to not just see him play against your team, but to see him play with your team and to see, again, the presence that he brings when he's on the floor, the effort that he plays with. The dude has so much basketball intelligence. He makes great passes. Great energy. I mean, realistically, he was very healthy the whole season. I mean, the only reason he got shut down this year was because the Jazz decided that he needed a surgery. They're like, what do you got broken? He's like, I snore a little bit. And they're like, yeah, that's it. You're out the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I mean,
full body scan.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That looks like a deviated septum right there.
That's deviated for sure. You're out. Anybody, JJJ, he's like, my knee, like I bumped it. And they're like, yep, that's surgery too. I mean, they're just handing surgeries out to people at the end of this year. But he did. He played such a great game for the whole time that he was here. And it's kind of funny because we realize we needed that depth, and we'll need it next year too, right?
For sure.
Well, Walker Kessler, as much as we all love him, has not been healthy. He got hurt. That shoulder's caused him a ton of issues. Hopefully he's got it repaired and he's ready to go next year. But in the event that he isn't, you're going to want someone like Jusuf Nurkic. And if you've already got a handshake deal that says, hey, we'll pay you $8 million a year, that's totally within our budget. How do you like Utah? And he's just like, oh, and in Bosnia, and like thumbs up or whatever.
I don't think it's anywhere near $8 million. I think it's well north of that.
I'm just saying whatever that is. What I mean?
I think they're giving him close to what he made this year. I think that's the only way
which could be, yeah.
The only way you get him to agree to sit on a contract year.
I just wonder if you
15.
The Jazz are really good at building contracts, front loading them on this year, and then decreasing their value. So that could be the case, right? Maybe they pay him. Maybe they're paying him $40 million and $20 in the first year, and then 10, 5, or whatever, $40 million on 5 years. Or
so why is it Markkanen's contract the opposite? Why is it so back heavy?
Well, they had to do Markkanen's because of the way the other contracts were all built in, though.
I guess so.
Right? Because like the JC contract went up, so they needed Markkanen's to be higher and then go back to, or be lower and then go back up.
Yeah.
So you're going to continue to play that game with every contract, right? So that you can balance the salary cap out every year.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one, man. I definitely think that he's going to be back next year with the Utah Jazz, just simply because, again, to your point, depth piece. I don't think Flip's going to be able to contribute the way that Jazz would need a backup center to be contributing with the issues that you mentioned with Walker Kessler.
Yeah.
Flip's development, he's going to need another year.
Flip needs another year, maybe 2 years. And then you ask the question, is he ever going to be ready to be any sort of a defensive player and not just a turnstile? Yeah. Because he's horrible.
No, he's not a turnstile. He'll just get 4 fouls in 1 quarter and then have to sit.
Yeah, and that's his whole
and
tactic.
Then he becomes a turnstile.
He's just like, yeah, sorry, I got 4 fouls. I can't touch anybody at this point. So what do you want me to do?
It's the T-Rex arms, man.
Yeah, oh, dude.
That's what it is.
That's
his reach just isn't there for a
just
guy his size. Yeah, but again, with how much length this team's going to have going into next year, you got Triple J as a power forward, being that help the helper defense. Maybe that covers up some of Flip's shortcomings there.
But could you imagine going in there and then you beat Walker Kessler and now Triple J's coming over to just swat your shot into the third row?
Yeah, and Kessler is smart enough on the defensive end to help cover the back.
Yeah.
So it's just
once he gets beat, he's down and back up to swat it again.
Yeah, there's just always been the problem for the Jazz ever since Rudy was gone. Even when Rudy was here, there was nobody helping the helper.
Never.
Like he would always come back on that help defense, and there was nobody there to take his guy for the putback. So you love to see it. You love to see the size that they're going to have.
Yep.
Once again, folks, we did launch a channel specifically for your Utah Jazz called Utah Jazz DNA. All of our Jazz content will be posted here on this channel. So if you're watching this on our live stream, by the way, thank you for joining us. We do this every Wednesday at 7:30 Mountain Time. Be sure to check us out. If you're watching this on our live stream or listening to us on our podcast, be sure to check out Utah Jazz DNA. A link to that channel will be in the description down below. If you're here for the Jazz content, let us know what you think about the Utah Jazz. Let us know what you think about Ace Bailey, Yusuf Nurkic in the comments down below. Smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and yeah, we'll be doing a
Like, comment, subscribe, all the things.
all the things. We'll be doing a giveaway once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers. Let us know what your
Absolutely.
thoughts are in the comments about what we should do.
Yeah.
I want to give away one of those road jerseys, but
Yeah.
if you guys want to do something else, let me know.
And make sure you guys tune in next week. We got lots of good stuff coming. I
Lots
am so excited. That is such a good thing, dude.
Yep, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk some baseball, shall we?
Yep. Let's do Major League Baseball.
AJ, we are here, my friend. We are here. It is opening night, and let's get in. We'll get into that here in a minute.
Yeah.
For everybody watching on Netflix, appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in to this little baseball channel we got going on, which I'll get into all that here.
Also, we have some people watching, I'm sure, and I have seen Greg, and I'm looking directly at you. If you can't, you. You have not subscribed to Major League DNA, and it's very disappointing.
As a reminder, folks, we did just launch a channel specifically for Major League Baseball called Major League DNA. We've actually had several people saying that we need to create a channel for baseball because it's one of our top discussed topics on this channel, and we have a lot of views on this subject. So we had to definitely put together a channel for it.
Yeah.
Can't help but notice that it's not centered, AJ.
It is centered. I double checked all of them before I put them on here. Maybe we're not centered here.
It could be.
Is that better?
It could be. I might be leaning. Anyway.
Yeah, I think you're leaning. Lean that way.
You got it, man. You got it. But as a reminder, folks, we did launch a channel specifically for Major League Baseball called Major League DNA. A link for that channel will be in the description down below. Be sure to check it out. If you're listening to us for some baseball, subscribe to this channel. And yeah, we'd love to chat with you guys about baseball. We want that to really grow because this is something that we've talked a lot about that has a lot of views on our main channel. And, we've listened to you guys. We want to make sure that our sub channels cover the topics you guys want to talk about. So,
yeah,
be sure to jump over there. Let's go ahead and talk about, let's go ahead and hit a comment real quick. Tammy Price, friend of the channel, Tammy Price. Also somebody who has not subscribed to Major League DNA yet.
Get her, Darren.
Just putting it out there, Tammy.
Yeah.
Opening night. Yeah. Happy opening night. Yes. Happy opening night to you too, Tammy.
Yep.
Now, before we do that, we do want to hit one thing before, and something we wanted to do last week, but we didn't get a chance to do it because we ran out of time, which we actually wanted to end the WBC with content with our favorite moments from the WBC.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to, do you have a moment you want to go with first, or you want me to go first?
I do. I'll go first.
Okay.
Because my favorite WBC moment happened multiple times. And it was like, I think it became a fan and just world favorite
I know where you're going
thing
with
that
this.
was happening. Because it's the best celebration all time, I think, in sports, right? Fans, players, everyone in between just embraced it. And that was an Italy home run followed by a shot of espresso.
That's right.
Dude, you just can't beat that.
Espresso shot the dugout and the double kiss.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
It's
just
the best.
the whole thing is like, that is the moment. Like, that's kind of like the thing that I think of when I think of this WBC is like that celebration. And not to mention an Italy team that made a great run.
Great run.
That was not expected to do anything in this tournament. And they just kind of, I mean, they take down Team USA and then they take down, who was the next one?
I think it was the
DR? Yeah. Then they take down the DR, which they were not supposed to beat the Dominican Republic.
It looks at the camera and says, "You're welcome, USA."
Yeah.
Love it.
And it was,
Love it.
so I don't know. That was my favorite moment to see that team just, and the celebration is great, but I think it's also just seeing that team win and have success and have fun doing it. They put together a great celebration as a team, and you could just tell they were enjoying being out there together, playing for their country.
Absolutely,
So.
man. You love it. You love
Yeah.
it. Love that one. Good choice, my friend. Good choice. So I told you already about what mine is,
I did, yes.
and I think this one is something I wanted to talk about last year when we covered the WBC, and I didn't get a chance to. So I want to talk.
That would have
about
been 2 years ago, Darren.
Oh shoot, 2 years ago. Yeah.
That just tells you we've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. Hey, let's keep it going, man. I'm enjoying it. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, let's do it.
But I want to talk about a player from the Czech Republic, Andreas Satoria.
Satoria, let's go with it.
I've heard it both ways. But Satoria was a pitcher from the Czech Republic who, again, had a very memorable moment last WBC in 2023. This is a guy who is known for striking out Shohei Ohtani in the 2023 WBC.
Yeah.
He became a Japanese legend at that point. The whole David versus Goliath, where he slayed the dragon and took out the captain of Team Samurai and struck him out, and just his legend was defined at that point.
I mean,
right?
where's his statue? That's what I want to know.
Exactly. So now Santeria is not a major league star. He's not even a regular, baseball player. Never played in the major leagues, never played in anything like that. He is from the Czech Republic, and he's often described as just an electrician, right? He's the guy who had to get PTO to even play in the WBC. And the Czech Republic is a very small baseball market. And this year they had to play Japan again. And not only was he able to keep elite hitters like Shohei Ohtani at bay again, but this man defied expectations. This guy can barely even throw 80 miles an hour, but he kept Japan scoreless through 4 innings. Japan did not score. Now, let me say it again. Japan did not score. The defending champions of the WBC that were just dump trucking guys in the pool play and qualifying in the exhibition games, putting up 10 runs. This Chechnyan electrician held Japan scoreless for over 4 innings.
Yep.
In 2026. That is, to me, got to be one of the most incredible moments in the WBC. Not only that, because of this game, and he held him in check for that long, these games were played in Tokyo, by the way.
Right.
In Tokyo, Japan. So he was already in front of a hostile crowd. But the Japanese fans knew this guy.
Yeah.
And as he was walking off the field, Japan gave him a standing ovation.
That is really cool, dude. I mean, to play in the country that you're playing against and to get a standing ovation against, one of the best assembled teams in the WBC.
The returning champions, yeah.
But to get a standing ovation from their crowd is a really, really cool moment.
In a 0-0 game, AJ.
Yeah.
It's not like the Czech Republic were winning. It's not like Japan was winning. It was 0-0. Like, we were waiting for someone to score here. And the Japanese crowd saw this guy and gave him a standing ovation. I just think that is ultimately my favorite part of this and really kind of speaks to what this international tournament really is. It really is kind of a 2 weeks there where it goes beyond baseball and just talks about how not only like this story here is going to affect how baseball's handled in the Czech Republic going forward.
Absolutely.
This guy's a legend in Japan already.
Yeah.
And that just legend is going to continue to grow. And he was playing against their team, man. It's just absolutely love it. My favorite part about the whole WBC right there for sure.
Absolutely. Build him a statue in front of the Electrical Union. That's what I vote.
Oh, did you also see that in the one of the exhibition games, Shohei Ohtani's home run hit 10 million views in one day?
No way.
Yeah. So cool, man. So cool. The 2023 WBC broke records for viewership, right? Even here in America, it broke records in viewership. In the 2026 WBC, in the U.S. alone, broke viewing records of the previous one.
Yeah.
The WBC championship game between Venezuela and the U.S. actually had higher rating and higher viewerships than any single game in the NBA Finals.
That's insane.
That's some growth, man. You love it. You love
absolutely.
it. Greg Hawkins, Shadow legend Greg Hawkins. Such a cool story. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, all right. So let's go ahead and pivot on over and let's talk, dude. AJ, it is opening night in baseball.
Yes, sir.
Opening night. And the only reason why I'm not wearing any Dodgers gear is because I'm protesting opening night. I think it's the dumbest thing ever. But, AJ, baseball matters today.
It does.
Baseball matters. We got the Yankees and the Giants playing right now on Netflix. Please, folks, give us a score update if you're watching. If you're tuning in, let us know how that went. But that's not what we're talking about today.
No.
We're not talking about that today. And we're going to be talking about how this time of year, majority of teams are super excited.
Yes.
It's a fresh year. Our team's going all the way. We're going to have a great year. Every team is thinking that right now, with the exception of a few teams. There are a few teams out there that already know, you know what, it is the beginning of the year, and the Colorado Rockies are already eliminated for the playoffs. You know, so some of this stuff is, for them, it's a little different. But today we're not talking about them either, AJ. We're going to be talking about the Atlanta Braves and why things are looking not so hot right out the gate.
I mean, not so hot is a way to say it, okay? But when you lose Spencer Strider for at least 4 or 5 weeks before opening day,
yeah,
not the best way to start the season.
Yeah, let me go ahead and give you a full rundown of the Atlanta Braves injury report. Would you like to hear this?
Yeah.
I'm sure they would like to hear this. You probably don't want to hear it.
I don't. I know, unfortunately.
So we got Spencer Strider out with an oblique strain. He's on the 10-day IL. Which,
how do you get an oblique strain with legs like that?
Oh, there's a lot of rotation, man. You got to think about it. There's a lot of that. You know, a lot of that whipping around. You know, when you got legs that strong.
I get it, but it's like, oh, maybe that's why.
Quadzilla, dude. His abs just aren't strong enough for that lower half.
He needs to do more core workout.
Exactly. So he's expected to return sometime in April, right?
Yeah.
Shortstop Ha-Seong Kim, injured finger. He will be out until the first half of May.
Yep.
Then we also have Sean Murphy, your catcher, with a hip injury. He's going to be out until May as well.
Yep.
We got left-handed pitcher, relief pitcher, Danny Young. Is expected to be out until the All-Star break, after the All-Star break. Right-handed pitcher, starter, Spencer Schwellenbach, elbow surgery, not TJ,
right,
is expected to be out until June or July. You also have Joey Wentz, who is out for the season. Joey Wentz, who's out for the season with a torn ACL. And, of course, you have Jerickson Profar, who is suspended for the whole season for his second PED violation.
Yeah. That's
a little tough, man.
I mean, Daysbel Hernandez, he's also out until some point in May with a right shoulder injury. AJ Smith-Shawver had Tommy John surgery. He's August, September return. The injury list for the Braves
goes on and on and on. I didn't want to. I figured I'd just stop there.
It goes on and on and on, and it's.
But AJ, I want to ask you, as the internal optimist.
Yeah.
I want to hear from you, man. Like, tell me why they're going to turn this around, man. Tell me how they're turning this around and why you're still optimistic about your Braves this year.
The optimism comes from we still have Chris Sale as a starting pitcher. Grant Holmes looked great as a starter last year. Reynaldo Lopez kind of had an up and down season last year, but he's looked great in spring training. Aaron Bummer out of the bullpen, Dylan Lee, both looked great at points last year. And then at catcher, you mentioned Sean Murphy at catcher, and yeah, that hurts because Sean Murphy has played really well for us, but Drake Baldwin, his bat has looked great. He's also a switch hitting catcher. So Drake Baldwin's looked really good. And then the infield is a place where you kind of go back to feeling comfortable with Matt Olson and Ozzie Albies and Austin Riley. So you've got enough steady players out there that you're still going to be okay. Mike Yastrzemski looked really good this whole preseason, spring training. Yeah. And then we still got Michael Harris and Ronald Acuna Jr. out there. And then, that backup outfielder they got is Eli White, who, you'll see him later in games if you need to steal some bases and stuff. So this is still a really talented Braves team that can go out there and win games, and we got a chance. So
yeah, I like it, man. I like it. We got some optimism back at you from Tammy Price, friend of the channel, Tammy Price, saying they will and be ready for October. And that's really kind of the key thing that I think most baseball fans need to remember, especially for Dodgers fans. We're actually entering our 162 spring training game season right now.
Yeah.
None of this matters until October for the Dodgers. So, but yeah, I have to 100% agree with you on that, man. And Tammy Price, on that one. There's a lot of optimism. They also just signed former Dodger Kyle Farmer as a two-way guy for the infield / outfield potential there. He's a great player that played a lot of shortstop for the Reds. That was quite good. So,
and he's listed as an infielder on the Braves 26-man roster.
Yeah, so with Ha-Seong Kim going down, I think that would actually be great. All this stems back to, if this doesn't turn around for him, it all stems back to the same problem that a lot of teams are having when it comes to this. It's just the TV deal, man.
Yeah.
This team could not go out and sign talent because they have no idea where their local and regional money's coming from.
Right.
That's all hurting this team. They are a really good team. I think they're actually projected in the top 5 of wins still for Major League Baseball right now. So they still, while they're not picked to win the division, they are picked to make it to the playoffs. So I think that there's a lot of hope for the Atlanta Braves for sure going forward. Just wanted to start off the year with the fact that, oh my gosh, AJ.
I know.
More injuries. Sidebar. Why the heck did the Braves let Ronald Acuna Jr. play in the WBC?
A question that I wish I could answer myself, dude. How all these players are getting nicks from the WBC, and we have our star player who's injury prone as anybody else in the league out there playing
glass, man.
The whole series of the WBC, every game.
Yeah, go out there, Ronald.
Just tear it up, man.
Worries. Go for it, buddy.
Yeah, but just make sure you're not leaning a certain direction on that knee. Okay,
Yeah,
let's go ahead and tape that puppy up.
Yeah, I think that's hilarious. Anyway, so just thought that was pretty funny. We wanted to talk a little bit about that. Now, again, games counting now, AJ, and something we didn't talk about, which was some of the rule changes that came into effect this year. One of the big ones is going to be the ABS challenge system.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, baseball's changing right in front of us, right? And it's funny because even with baseball changing, it's already like delivering these moments that you couldn't even write a script for. And it's so funny because in a spring training game in Scottsdale, just a routine at bat, Guardians, the Giants are playing. It's 105 degrees in Scottsdale.
Ugh.
And so obviously it's hot. And you got a close pitch. The umpire calls it a ball. And he still had his mic on after he announced that the ABS they had challenged the call. And on his hot mic, he's heard saying, "Please be a strike." And the pitch turned out to be a ball, just like he called it, by 0.4 of an inch.
But he wanted to be overturned.
He wanted it to be overturned purely for the fact that it's 105 degrees on the field and he was ready to get some water. So it's really cool. And it leads into a perfect, kind of conversation about ABS and
for sure. It's just kind of, it speaks a lot to that. Cause like, even though that umpire wants to be over, and there's a lot of times where you're just like, dude, do you have a reservation somewhere that you gotta get to?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really funny that even though he's dying out there,
he's like, overturn it.
Please let this be wrong.
Just be a strike.
I call it right, but please just overturn it. It's close enough. Let's get out of here. I absolutely love it. But yeah, to your point, man, this is hilarious because again, just like we mentioned there, this guy was caught in Dolby Digital on a mic saying this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So the rules are, so this is something that's going to be implemented. This was in spring training last year, and it was going to be ruled that this is going to be happening for this year. And this is how we're going to be doing balls and strikes now. The rule is each team can have 2 challenges on balls and strike call with simply tapping the head. There are 3 people that are allowed to do it. It can't be shot from the dugout. It can't be a player on the field. It has to be one of 3 players, which is going to be the pitcher, the catcher, or the batter. Those are the 3 people that are allowed to tap on their hat and challenge the call. Now, if you challenge the call and you get it right and it's overturned, you maintain that challenge.
Right.
But if you get it wrong and the call stands, you lose your challenge and you only have 1 left for the game. So as long as you are saying it, as long as you are, challenging correctly, you can
challenge calls all night.
All game.
Mm-hmm.
All game. One of the rules I thought was really kind of funny that I actually did not realize until recently on on a spring training game is that there's a time frame you have to challenge the call.
Right. It's like within 5 seconds?
2 seconds.
2 seconds. Okay, so it's immediate.
2 seconds of the call being called, you have to tap. Someone has to tap. It's within 2 seconds of the call.
Yeah.
And so there's this moment, I think John Boy did it, coverage on it, where he thought it was a ball. It was called strike 3. The batter flipped his bat and then tapped his head after that. And because that flipping the bat and catching it and leaning back and then tapping took too long, he's like, nope, you took too long. Back to the bench for you.
Yeah.
You know,
Call is as stands.
Call is as stands. You have 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So depending on how animated the umpire is on that called strike, like you're gonna have to like get to that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You know, or that
Steve Rock 3.
you're out.
They're like, oh, nope, sorry.
Yeah. If he like does an air guitar movement or something like that, you got no time.
No time, dude.
So if you're an umpire and you want to like mess with that, you can mess with that a little bit.
Oh yeah, you can control it, dude.
Did you hear what they're also doing when it comes to the broadcast of this? When it comes to the ABS?
Oh, I did see this. They changed what you're actually able to see on the screen, right?
Yes. So for the first time in like 10 years, whenever you're watching a game and you're watching the pitches go into the strike zone, they'll put the ball as it crosses the plate where it is on that little box.
Right.
So they're going to keep the box. The box is going to be there. But what's going to be gone now is the ball is going to be gone. They're not going to show the ball as it crosses the plate anymore.
Okay.
Because where that zone is being picked up is going to be different. And the strike zone is also going to be different for
Every hitter for ABS, yeah.
Which is something I want to talk about. So we cannot move off of the subject without talking about this.
Okay.
We got to talk about it.
Okay.
So because of that reason, they don't want a pitch coming in, reading as a strike on the ABS system, on the broadcast, and having it be a ball on the ABS.
Yeah.
So they don't want to have it be conflicted. So they're just not going to show the ball as it crosses the plate. And they're
not going to put the marker.
They're not putting the marker of where the ball is crossing the plate anymore, because of several reasons. One, where that marker is, and where on the ABS system, it's literally like right in the center of the plate. Mm-hmm. So it's going to cause for a bit of commotion there and a bit of confusion. So they're just not going to do that, which I think is fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, another unintended consequence of the ABS system. Did you hear about this one?
I don't think so.
Okay. So you know how it works, right? So it's not just going to be like a standard. When you're looking at TV, it seems like that box never moves. It's just there, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's Jose Altuve walking up or Aaron Judge, right? That box is just
same
there.
box.
Same box, right? And that's not how this works. The ABS system is based off of your height.
Right, because it's a percentage of your height. Yeah.
Yeah, percentage of your height from the knee to like it's like there's like a percentage of your height from the ground to your top. You know, that's where the strike zone is going to be, because it's going to be based off of every individual player.
Yeah.
Right. So the problem is this ABS system is catching players cheating about how tall they are in Major League Baseball.
They're like, I'm not 6'4". I'm actually 5'11".
A perfect example is a player for the Rays now, Gavin Lux, former Dodger player, had on his baseball reference that he is 6'2". He's actually 5'11".
That's the wrong way.
So instead of just taking and trusting what they were putting down as their height, and that being a problem with the ball and strike call, because they're just like, oh my God, that's not right. It's because their zone was going based off of what they said they were.
Yeah.
And retracting based off of what they are. So, yeah, this ABS system is catching a lot of players that were saying they were a certain height, not really being that. One of them is, I'm going to jump on this, and we'll get back to the other ones, Greg, but this one's hilarious. Bregman went from 6 feet tall to 5'9".
Way shorter than I look.
You got to love it. You got to love it. The strike zone box on the broadcast is dumb. It's not even accurate. No, but everybody
is. Yeah.
Everybody watching it will assume it is, right? So, but actually, you know, it is funny because there is one player that went the other way around.
Oh, really?
And I guarantee you can guess who this player is. The most humble baseball player out there was advertising he was shorter than he actually was. Who is that player?
Shohei Ohtani.
Exactly. Shohei Ohtani had on his baseball reference that he was 6'3". Now that they're actually measuring, when they're actually, when they're standing in the bot, and as they're approaching the plate, they get measured, right? So it's a measurement that's done, which is really kind of another subject, because when you crouch down, that makes your strike zone smaller, but it's based off of your standing height.
Yeah.
So depending on, anyway, he's actually 6'4", not 6'3".
So his strike zone got bigger.
Yeah. So even though, everybody wants to brag about being taller than that, he's like, no, I'm an inch shorter than I actually, That's your Shohei Ohtani. So really,
maybe he's 6'3" without cleats on.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, he was actually being measured an inch taller than what he was putting on his baseball reference, which was hilarious. We got another comment here from Greg Hawkins saying, Cubs tomorrow, 12:20. I am so happy. That's awesome, man. Looking forward to the Cubs. They're going to have a great year, man. I picked them winning the Central.
Yeah.
And then we also have Tammy Price That is funny. Yeah. So before we get out of here, one last thing we want to cover in baseball. Bold prediction for the 2026 season, AJ.
My bold prediction for 2026 is that the Philadelphia Phillies do not make the playoffs.
Oh, wow. They just spent $330 million to get their exact team back. And you think
That is my prediction.
Miss the playoffs.
I think the Mets take the East.
Okay.
And the Braves will take the next wild card spot. And I think the Phillies miss.
Yeah, because you got the Cubs winning their division probably. And then you got the Brewers taking that other potential wild card. And then the third one's probably going to come out of the NL West.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's my prediction.
You heard it here
Phillies
first.
miss the playoffs.
You heard it here first. AJ's claiming the Phillies are going to miss the playoffs. I love that. I love that. Mine's actually kind of in a similar vein. You want to hear mine?
Yeah.
My bold MLB prediction for 2026 is the Oakland A's will make the postseason. Sorry, the Sacramento A's will make the postseason.
Okay.
This team is actually signing their talent. They're pushing their chips in the middle. They might be forced to because they're forced to be spending money, or the rest of the owners wouldn't agree to their move to Vegas in the first place.
Right, absolutely.
But they did sign Rooker. They signed a lot of their young talents to extending them into longer contracts. They actually had a much better year last year than they did the year before. I believe they even finished last year not even last place. I think
they weren't in last.
Yeah, so I first wanted to pick the Angels, but it's still the Angels.
Yeah, that's tough.
But I'm like, well, wait a minute. Which team is going to come out of the AL that hasn't been there before? I took a nice long look at Sacramento A's. They're wearing Sacramento on their jerseys this year.
Which is super cool.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. Phillies not making the playoffs. The Sacramento A's make the playoffs.
Boom.
We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. As a reminder, we launched a channel specifically for Major League Baseball called Major League DNA. All of our baseball content will be posted here. So if you're watching this on our live stream or you're listening to our podcast after the fact on audio, a link to Major League DNA will be in the description down below. So be sure to jump down there, check us out, comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of our baseball content. A giveaway will be coming your way once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers. Let us know what your thoughts in the comments down below. What should we do? Should we do some memorabilia giveaway?
Yeah, we'll do some. We'll find something.
Something fun.
Like, subscribe. Let us know what your bold prediction is for 2026.
We want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below for sure. As a reminder, folks, this is a live stream, so if you are watching this or listening to this after the fact, please feel free to join us on our live stream every Wednesday at 7:30. Our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, is where our live stream will be posted every week, so be sure to check it out. This channel has hit 1,000 subscribers. This channel is monetized, so we are giving the first $500 that this channel earns in AdSense revenue back to y'all. So if you have not subscribed to DNA Sports Recap, our primary channel that the podcast is on, please be sure to jump in, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because we'll be giving $100 away to 5 lucky subscribers. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on the giveaway.
Yep. And if you're watching on YouTube on one of our short videos, just know this is available as a podcast wherever you get your audio.
With all that said, my name is Darren, that is AJ, and this has been an episode of the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.